That was a tremendous second half. I mean, wow, 7-up.
Actually, I like the first half already, to be 100% honest. Big parts of it, at least. Of course, again, we conceded that goal. It was well played. Reaction was good. And in our good spells in the first half, we played already exceptional between the lines, and we showed the boys situations that we can do that and have to do that more often, and then it will be pretty exhausting for Rangers, because it was tough to defend us in these moments. And yeah, and then Darwin opened the box and more as well, and then it was well scored. Harvey, huh? That's 6. Yeah, that's it.
Mo's hat-trick is the fastest in Champions League football. I mean, this is a ruthless performance, is every word for it.
Yeah, different position, more inside. We have to force him a bit, but it's no, of course, that is an outstanding player, we all know. And today he showed that, and it's good.
And speaking of outstanding players, Bobby Firmino, it was a fantastic show. 2 goals, a brilliant assist. I mean, you rely on him. He's a player you can trust.
Yeah, of course. Oh, the goal was now a cheeky one from Costas. We wanted to go there, but you have to hit the one anyway. So it was a great goal, a great equalizer, very important. Yes, he played an exceptional game. To be honest, I didn't see a lot of players tonight who didn't play really well. So Harvey played super, Fabio played top, both sixes from the beginning, really there. Centre halves top. Yeah, there was everybody was spot on. So in a difficult game, it could have been much more difficult. We know that, and so that's why I'm really pleased.
Particularly because they took the lead, and the crowd is in.
Yeah,
it's everything you probably didn't want.
Yeah, the difference in the atmosphere is massive when they score and when we score, obviously. So, but that was clear. But now we are not only since yesterday in that competition. So we know that in away games it's like this. We played in most difficult circumstances, and tonight could have been, how I said, much more difficult. But because we played football, and when we play football, when we play to our potential, then we are a pretty good football team, and that's what we showed tonight, at least in a few moments.
The group looks a lot better now. Napoli, of course, are away. Now you're chasing, and he also it puts you in a nice position going into that Manchester City game. A lot of.
Yeah, much better. That has nothing to do with the City game, obviously, but of course it's better to get some confidence and some flow. But we have to prove consistency. We know that. I mean, I don't have to say that all the time. I don't only say it because I only get pretty much asked. So we know what we have to do, and we will give it a try.
Thanks, Jurgen.
Welcome.
And that's the key point, I think, isn't it, for Liverpool? Consistency. You know, they haven't got back-to-back wins yet this season. They need to build on this now.
Yeah, well, that's an incredible start, that. But I think Des actually had the key word there tonight, ruthless, because that's exactly what Liverpool were second half. They were obviously first class with their performances and the level of finishing. But I can't lie to you, when it went to 4, I'm going to myself, dear me, I hope they just keep the ball now and see the game out. But no, they were ruthless, and that's what good teams are, that's what great teams are.
That's what you like to see, right?
If you're a Liverpool fan, yeah, you want to see that, and I think that's what Liverpool need to get back to being. I think that they're... like he said there, they're a good team. When they play well and play to their strengths, this formation still, I see chinks in the formation, the way they're playing. The way they conceded a goal today was a replica of the goal, one of the goals they conceded against Arsenal. And I'm sure that's what Man City will be looking at. I think this is an example of that. We spoke about before the game, the 2 centre midfielders playing in there. As good as players they are given problems when the midfielders of the opposition team play behind them. This next angle will give you a better idea about it. You've got Arfield, the goal scorer, the nearest blue shirt to us, and he's behind Jordan Henderson there, the 2 centre midfielders for Liverpool. Can't see where he is. The ball goes forward. They never recover. This happened all throughout the game. There's probably about 6 or 7 opportunities to see this similar, but then the execution of this one was perfect.
I just wonder there, Rio, as well. We can go back to the start of that clip. Do you think, as a defence there, if Henderson actually sits back with his midfield, then all of a sudden his strikers are closing down and saying, "Where are you?" Very difficult. Like we've always known Liverpool as a high line team, squeezing in, and then that gives the opportunity for the midfield. That gives the opportunity to the. But when the attackers go and close down, if Henderson actually goes back 10 yards instead of backing them up, then You know, he's almost... Midfield are always in a no-win situation, depending on what's behind them and what's in front of them. And I just wonder whether the back four, he's used to the back four squeezing closer to him.
I think I 100% agree with you. I agree when the ball's in central areas on that side of the pitch where Jordan Henderson and where they were on that side, I think the centre-back's got to be communicating with the midfielder, with Jordan Henderson, right, left. Don't let the ball get played in. Once the ball gets transferred to the other side of the pitch, the centre-half then's got to be screaming at Henderson, get yourself near or at least goal side or near. He doesn't do that, and it happens quickly. And then Gomez is thinking, do I go in and mark the midfielder that's coming on to me, or do I stay wide with Kent? And he obviously gets caught in no man's land, and it's a great touch away from him, as Ali told us earlier, and it was a fantastic finish.
It's one of the factors as well, lads, is it maybe because when they're sitting with a two, it's easier for them to get in behind the gaps, in behind Henderson, Fabinho, if you like. Because I'm thinking if they do play with a three, there's one there and two in front. The one there can pull the other two around and maybe prevent those gaps.
I'm just concerned as well. I mean, Manchester City, I know they're better with Haaland, don't get me wrong, but I'm just... Imagine Manchester City a year ago, 2 years ago, you know, when they've got loads of players in those pockets, I'd be thinking, wow, Jurgen Klopp's going to have to go back to what he knows. Even now, I'm thinking, you know, this could be a little bit dangerous, because they will be watching that, and they have got the players to exploit it. So it'll be fascinating to see what Jurgen Klopp goes back to, if he goes back to the tried and trusted.
Pep Guardiola and his team, the analysis will be around that type of thing
all
today.
over it.
I think we saw so many examples today of the midfielders, and you could translate that and say Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Foden in them areas, and then when they get in them positions, they're potent.
And the Mo Salah hat-trick, what was it? Just over 6 minutes?
6 minutes, 12 seconds, I believe. Class. I mean, the one off the inside of the post is probably the pick of the bunch. But his movement's good, as you'd expect. He takes great touches. This is a brilliant touch with his right foot. What his touch with the right foot does, it takes it away and makes it impossible for Barisic, your left back. But again, the finish, it's the only thing he can do. He can't side foot it. He can't drive it. It's impossible, because I think it's Davis that's coming across. He can't side foot it with his left foot. All he can do is bang, jab it, toe poke.
I think that was his best goal tonight, because I think it was the hardest goal.
You might be right.
Hardest goal, but this one was like, again, you in that area inside the left back, great run. That's what I love. The top players, we talked about Firmino. Watch here when he rolls his studs on the ball. This is slowing the game down. When this normally gets hazy for other players, he sees it clear. You can argue the keeper, maybe it goes in a bit slow. He could get across the goal quicker, but the fact he slowed it down and then played at his own pace, picked his spot, that's the top level, the difference.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the goalkeeper either was expecting him to curl it into the far corner like he did for his last goal, or he got his angles wrong. The first goal, I thought, one thing that we were missing and in terms of touching on was his strength. This lad is one of the strongest footballers around. He's got a low centre of gravity. But this is stereotypical Mo Salah for me. If I think of a Mo Salah goal, that's it. Cutting in from the right-hand side, curling it into the far corner.
Is that your favourite, Ali?
Do you know something? That's brilliant, but as Michael says, you kind of expect him to score that goal. The more I see his first goal, where he's got no backswing, he can't side foot it, the only thing he could do is kind of jab, toe poke. That's a top class
He
finish.
can do that in his sleep. That looks harder than it actually is. I think Mo Salah scores that plenty of times out of 10. That first goal, the way he brought it down with his weak foot, when it's going over your head, is a hard skill. Then body in between them, and then, as you say, the only thing he could do, I mean, that was a seriously good goal, that first one.
The first one, everything had to be perfect about that first part of the goal, the touch, and then to get his body in between him and the man and the ball. If he gets that wrong, he doesn't get the chance to have the next bit, and it's exquisite in terms of touch.
Harvey Elliott was made to wait just a couple of minutes longer for his first Champions League goal for Liverpool. There was that lovely moment, though, where Mo Salah came, put his arms around him, and they kind of waited together, had their fingers crossed. He was like, it was really nice, wasn't it?
Well, it was lovely, but the fact of the matter is they should have been up here, because we knew it was a goal, didn't we? We absolutely knew it was a goal. I mean, there was a lot of uncertainty. And
they were just adding to the tension and the drama, Ali.
I think Steve said in commentary the only thing he think it could possibly have been was maybe Jota affecting the goalkeeper at some point, but no, it looked good. I mean, the timing the run from there, Salah is well onside, Tavernier's playing him onside, ball comes across, Jota's onside, you can see along the lines, absolutely fine. and he finishes it well, right foot volley.
I must say, I was really pleased for Javier. I think him and Carvalho, we spoke about before the game, two young lads coming into such a hostile environment and putting on the performances they did, especially in the second half.
Yeah.
Up the levels, they were a big part of that. And to get a goal at the end of it, I thought they were well deserved.
It was actually a decent finish with his weak foot.
Yeah.
I know people think, oh, it's an open goal, but they're not that easy.
Yeah.
And one thing is, I think Jota will be a little bit upset that he didn't hit it first time, because it probably should have been his goal.
All right, well, on every level, an absolutely brilliant night for Liverpool this evening, but a chastening night certainly for Rangers. Let's get the thoughts of Emma and Kenny, who are down pitch side. Emma.
Thank you, Jake. Well, for 23 minutes, everything was going according to plan for Rangers. And for 45 minutes, things were sort of going according to plan for Rangers until it wasn't, Kenny. We haven't seen anybody out of the Rangers dressing room yet, which perhaps is understandable. But what does a result like this do for that group of players in there at the moment?
It'll be soul destroying for them. It's another heavy defeat at this level, albeit against a Liverpool team that were excellent in the second half. I still think, looking at a lot of the goals, there's things that Giovanni won't be happy with. There's no doubt about that. More importantly, I think, in moving forward, I think the injury to Connor Goldson, another injury to Ryan Jack, will prove costly, particularly the Goldson one. I think when he is the rock back there, like we talked about it, you hear the lads on the commentary, he's barely missed a minute, never mind a game over his time at Rangers. So he'll be a big loss, and you've just got to keep your fingers crossed that it's not too long out for Connor Goldson, because he's the heartbeat of that Rangers defence.
And that's the thing, isn't it? His injury was definitely a turning point in the game, and it's no slight on Leon King, who came on, but you can't get away from the fact that until then Rangers were still very much in that game. Yeah,
they were, and I just think he holds things together. He's such an influential player for the people about him. I think even for James Tavernier, the captain, it's good to have his mate, the guy who's been alongside almost 300 times over the last 5 years or so, that he knows exactly what's going on there. And I say, it's just going to be a big loss for him, because now you've got to dust yourself down for this. It's a heavy defeat. Yeah, you've got to look at it. You'll have to improve on things. You've still got 2 Champions League games to go, and you don't want to go through it. We said it before, we've got a goal tonight. Rangers got a goal, which is their first goal for a while. They're still not a point, so you don't want to get through these 6 games without a point. So there's still little things to play for, but more importantly, you've got league games and league duty and cup games next week as well to get momentum back and get wins. So there's still so much to play for, but you need to look at this and learn, dust yourself down and get ready to go again at the weekend.
The scoreline suggests it's a very harsh learning curve for Rangers, but is it a very good example of the difference in quality? Liverpool's ability to bring that strength off the bench, and also to keep their concentration and composure over the 90 minutes where perhaps Rangers couldn't match that.
Well, when you see the players that are coming on, it's they've got a lot of players missing through injury, a lot of big players, but when you're bringing that quality footballer on, it was always going to be a tough night for Rangers, particularly at the end of the game, where they've put so much into it. Like you say, a lot was going right in the first half. I think when you look at the stats of the game, it was quite a level game in regards to shots, possession, passes, everything was quite level. Like Ali said, though, Liverpool went up 2 or 3 levels in the second half, and they punished Rangers for, I wouldn't say mistakes, but a structure kind of went a little bit defensively. A lot of clearances. Fabinho was picking up, he was front foot and aggressive, and then when they get the opportunity, some of the play to cut through Rangers, it was pretty impressive.
Well, Kenny is no longer the most recent Rangers player to score a goal in the Champions League. That, of course, is Scott Arfield, but I guess in that dressing room right now, that will mean very little to him.